Hey everyone, welcome to this weekly Sidereal Astrology forecast for the week of December 23rd through the 29th of 2024. All right, so this week we are ending the current lunar month. We're going to have a new moon next Monday. So coming into this week, we will still be in an action-oriented phase of the lunar month. So good for really implementing the full moon energy from about a week prior. But as we go through the later part of this week, it is good to start to end things, complete things, and really get ready for that new moon. I would say it's the new beginning of the solar year coming after the solstice. Now this week we do have Jupiter squaring up to Saturn. This is a very important yearly energy. We have the planet of expansion in a clash with the planet of contraction. Both planets are about manifestation. And so in this case, it's been going on since August 19th. And when I say clash, it's really about implementing these two very different energies, actually very similar energies in many ways, because they're both about manifestation. But Jupiter is about believe it and it can become true. And Saturn is about work hard or be patient and it can come true. So anything since August 19th that we can work on, really utilize this week in terms of being both open-minded, but also patient and perseverant. Really good way of working with this week. Mercury will be in a T-square with this. That's going to be on Thursday, opposite up to Jupiter. And so anything that utilizes our mind and implementing things really from this past retrograde, I would say the past probably since about mid-November, when Mercury's been already contacting these planets, anything that we could be learning, thinking about, communicating, getting into very practical dynamics with that, I think is great. Mercury will go back into Ophiuchus this week on Saturday, bringing up that healer world, that deeper world once again. Again, part of the retrograde, so maybe going back and rehealing, redoing, reconnecting to that deeper dimension of life. Venus squaring Uranus, some new and exciting, maybe different, uncomfortable maybe things over the weekend. And Chiron going direct. Anything that does involve healing, I think is great to implement for really the next 6 months with Chiron now direct. All right, so let's go and take a look at all of this here in more detail when we return. Alrighty, so here is the sky for this week. We're going to look at this for each day of the week, starting first with Monday, December 23rd. And as you can see here, we are using the visible sky on this channel, which is very different from mainstream astrology. You won't see this in mainstream because unfortunately they use mostly a seasonal system which deviates from the sky, doesn't use the sky. And so the signs are different. If you're noticing some of the placements are different, definitely check out that link down below for more information. All right, so let's go and do a bit of a recap. So we are well into the current lunar month. We had a full moon about a week ago. And so we are coming into this week in what is usually a more action-oriented phase, what's called the third quarter phase of the lunar month. So really good to implement the shifts that happened about a week ago, the insights from about a week ago, or anything that you set out to do from about a week ago. So that is that third quarter moon coming into this week. We do have the sun now officially in Sagittarius, and so even though we still have that deeper world a bit with Mercury, as we'll talk about, the sun now, great to be focused on the more adventurous aspects of life, the more open-minded, the more free-spirited energies. This is the sun after that deeper energy from last week, and maybe some personal transformations there that we can start to feel the post-transformation with. The post-transformation, like that butterfly out of the cocoon, that post-metamorphosis that gives us that sense of free spirit, open-mindedness, willing to learn and listen to that spirit for life. So definitely is Sagittarius season. But like I said, still that deeper world. Mercury's still here in the underworld. Mercury's the planet of how we think, how we communicate, and so that's still going on. Venus is in grounded Capricorn, so when it comes to what we're enjoying in life, and really who and what we're connecting to, we can certainly be doing it in a disciplined and grounded way. Capricorn, much like Saturn, similar energy there, is all about seeing the long-term view and perseverance, patience, climbing that mountain one step at a time. So we could actually be quite responsible with things that we enjoy in life right now. At least it's a great time to do so. Be quite maybe responsible in those relationships. And all in all, just seeing the value of more of that long-term view at the moment. Mars is, of course, still retrograde, as he will be for the coming months, and in Cancer, reminding us that it's good to be taking a little bit of a step back when it comes to asserting ourselves right now, when it comes to expressing our needs and pursuing things in life. And in Cancer, it's about really reconnecting with our emotions, our feelings, and who and what's important to us emotionally in life, creating that protective environment for ourselves and others right now. So good to be a bit reflective on that, as that's already been the case. All right, so let's go ahead and start here with Monday coming into this week. Let's talk about this Jupiter square Saturn, because it is a yearly energy, and we usually feel it the weeks surrounding. And so I talked a little bit about this last week. So it's definitely going to be encompassing the whole week here, but as you can see, it does go exact around Tuesday. So we have Jupiter, that planet of expansion, Saturn, the planet of contraction. We could say that these are the two planets that create our reality. It's how we view life. Jupiter is the more of a, if you were to talk to maybe someone who's been around the block, they might have two different perspectives, right? You might have an elder who is more about, hey, just listen to your inspiration in life, be open-minded, and you can manifest anything, or manifest what your heart desires. That would be more Jupiter. Jupiter, the planet of expansion. Now talk to another elder, and they might say, no, life, you have to be patient, you have to work hard, you have to earn your little bit in order to apply that to the larger whole and to build a strength of character, qualities like perseverance, patience, discipline. So both are true. Both are valid ways of manifesting. Believe it and it can come true. Work hard or be patient, it can come true. Both valid. But with the square, it's all about integrating the two. They're both, of course, important, and both the way we manifest. But when we can combine them, that really is the most powerful thing. So that's how I would give a synopsis of this. And again, it's been going on since August 19th of this year. The last contact will be the 15th of June next year. And so we're in the middle contact between these planets, usually more of the reflective, internal, retrograde kind of energy with it. So still good to be reflective on it, but nonetheless, I would say this is a great week for doing that, being open-minded, and at the same time, looking at the big picture, the long term, pursuing what we're hopeful about, but at the same time, being patient. These kinds of qualities, I think, is great. And we could very well notice a nice step in the right direction with this, maybe specifically around Tuesday for a lot of us, in the context of whatever's been starting here, whatever we've been wanting to manifest since August 19th. All right, so that's definitely the most important aspect of the week. And it does correlate well with the third quarter moon. Like I said, coming into this week is pretty good for action and implementation and manifestation, really. So on Monday here, the moon will be in Virgo, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So the backdrop for these first few days is going to be on improvement, refinement, taking care of things, a little bit of discipline in the sense of the day-to-day responsibilities, maybe a little bit of healthy self-limitation in the sense of refinement, striving towards perfection, in the way of what we do have control over, focusing on ourselves, our environment, things like this. Virgo, the maiden, is all about that improvement orientation. So that's going to be those first few days of the week here. On a very minor note, Venus will be sextiling Chiron. Nothing to really say here, except maybe in those one-on-one connections, we could have a little bit of healing energy come through. It's available, maybe. Could be supporting some of that Venus energy we were talking about earlier in Capricorn. All right, so that's those first few days of the week here. Now, as we get into the second half, we will then really start to get to the ending phase of the lunar month, what's called the balsamic phase of the lunar cycle. And this will be gearing up for, like I said, the new moon on Monday. So closing things out the second half of the week, letting the energies die down, starting to complete things, finalize things, etc. Now, with that being said, we do have Mercury then contacting that Jupiter-Saturn square. We'll be in a T-square. Jupiter will be on the opposite side of Jupiter with this. Now, like I said, Jupiter's already been playing around with both of these planets since November 12th. So November 12th, Mercury was squaring up to Saturn, and then he opposed Jupiter, and he's been, sort of in this configuration. But they are, since Jupiter and Saturn are in that exact square, and Mercury's contacting now, it's a very tight T-square here, which does emphasize it. So again, middle contact here. And Mercury is all about using, again, our minds, our communications. And so in the context of that manifestation, in the context of being open-minded and yet disciplined, in the context of maybe working towards something since mid-August, Mercury can really help us do this, okay? So Mercury helping us think about it, maybe understand it more, maybe learn about it. Just all in all, a good time to be, again, both open-minded and also discipline-minded, seeing what's possible, Jupiter opposite Mercury, but at the same time looking at the reality, Mercury square Saturn, and this can be very constructive here. So things involving our mind, things involving communication as well, maybe even some correspondence and things like this could really be integrated very well here. Like I said, really all week, but especially with that day-to-day energy of Mercury here around Thursday and Friday. All right, but all in all, if you want to utilize that, it could be a constructive time for all things mental and communicative. Again, with those grounded intentions and with that healthy and balanced open-mindedness. All right, so that's correlating there. And as we do get into Friday, we do have both Thursday and Friday, the moon will be in Libra. So Thursday, Friday, themes around balance and finding that even keel with life. So Libra, the scales, is all about finding the even keel in our own life. If there's any areas that are out of balance, it's a great couple days to bring things back into balance. And it could place a theme on interpersonal or interrelational things as well. That does correlate with the Mercury communicative aspects of things. But again, also the relational or sort of agreements, coming to middle ground, justice, morality, doing the right thing. These are likely themes Thursday, Friday. Now, as we do get into the weekend, the moon will go into Scorpio and also Ophiuchus, ending really the last and current, the current lunar month that has been very deep here. That all started in Scorpio. And so completing things on that deeper level. And at the same time, Mercury will start to shift into Ophiuchus once again. So again, placing a theme on not only bringing the deeper world to the surface, but working with it. And so Mercury here for the coming into next week, really helping us understand, let's say, the shadow of life and work with the shadow of life. Now that can be within ourselves. So a great time for personal healing, personal transformation, diving deep into our own wounds, traumas, deeper values, and all for that, again, metamorphosis and transformation, especially once Mercury finishes. But also sharing, communicating on a deeper level, maybe some, shadow work there that can be done with our external environment as well. So definitely a good weekend there for that deeper energy that already correlates with the ending phase, as that is a deeper, more internalized or yin part of the lunar cycle, that we're in that completion phase. Over the weekend, Venus will be squaring up to Uranus, so good to get outside of our comfort zone a little bit. Might be a little uncomfortable for us, but seeing the value of change, seeing the value of getting outside the comfort zone, seeing the value of getting outside the box, challenging our own status quo, maybe the collective status quo in healthy ways. Seeing the value of this with Venus, and maybe some interpersonal or relational things that can be healthfully integrated there. Healthy freedom, healthy autonomy, individuality, freedom in relationships, things like this could be great to implement. But just seeing the value of, change and really challenging our own status quo there. And this can end up being extremely constructive day for that. All right, and then lastly, Chiron is going to start to go station direct, very subtly, very slow-moving, non-visible with the naked eye planet, comet in this case. So things are paused here a little bit, maybe with the healing stuff, okay? So while we're going into that deeper world, recognizing that it is, again, more internalized, and in the external sense, we can maybe start to implement this stuff really for the next 6 months with Chiron direct. So some things definitely shifting with the healing world, again, personal or extra-personal healing dimensions. Definitely a theme over the weekend. And maybe a little bit of a pause, maybe a shift, maybe some things starting to move forward in the external sense when it comes to some of that stuff. And by the way, this can be physical healing, all kinds of other healing, not just that deeper emotional world either. Okay, so that's the ending of the lunar cycle, and we'll talk about the new moon next week. All right, so that is the week in a nutshell. Put simply, this is a week of coming in with action to implement and then close things out, finalize, and create space towards the end of that week. Jupiter squaring Saturn gives us that ability to really concretize things, to be open-minded, but at the same time constructive. And so any way we want to utilize that is great, especially if it involves our mind or our communications when we're talking about Mercury around that Thursday, Friday time period. Okay, and yeah, that's pretty much it. Deeper weekend, finalizing some things, getting outside that comfort zone a little bit with Venus square Uranus. All right, so everyone have a fantastic week. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to stay tuned for the live stream. We're going to go live here every Sunday, just a few hours after this upload. 1:15 p.m. Eastern time is when we're doing this. Hopefully you can make it, but have a great week, everyone, and I'll see you all next time for the next astrology forecast. Take care.